It's time to learn about strings and characters. Characters are going to be a single letter, number, or symbol, such as A, 2. And we're also going to be learning about strings, which are going to be a series of characters. And we're going to be able to encapsulate all of these characters inside of a string. Now, let's see how we do that. Let's go ahead and create a new Xcode project here. And we're going to choose Get Started with Playground. And we're going to call this Strings. And we're going to choose the platform to be iOS. We can go ahead and press Next and press Create. Actually, I'm going to say this to my desktop, so I'll create this on my desktop. And we actually have a string that's already been created for us here. It says var str is equal to hello playground, and we see that this is currently in quotes. And quotes are just a really quick way we can create strings by putting a series of characters inside of the quotes. We can create a string. Now, we can also create an empty string here by just having two empty quotes here, and we see that we just see the quotes, but what is actually being saved here is just an empty string. We wouldn't actually see these quotes if we were to display this or update this to like a text property on our label, like we've done before. And let's actually just go ahead and change this variable name to string1. I like that a little bit better. And then what we can do is we can update the value of string1 the same way we did with our variables when we were creating integers or doubles. So we can say string1 is equal to hello. And then what we can do is we can create an additional string. So we can say let string2 equal world. Well, we have the ability to add two strings together, and we need to make sure that both of these are strings. So we could say var hello world string is equal to string1. And then we can actually even add an additional string here. So we want a space in between hello and world. And then we can add string2 to this. And we see hello world now prints out on this right panel over here. Now that we have our hello world string, and it says hello world, or its value is hello world with the space in between, we can do some cool things to it. We can make it all uppercase by saying hello world string is equal to hello world string dot uppercase string, and we'll see that this prints out hello world all in capitals here. We could also make it all lowercase by saying hello world string is equal to hello world string dot lowercase string. And in both cases, what we're doing here is on the right side, we're accessing our hello world string. In the first case here, it's just hello world with the first letter capital and the second letter capital. And we're updating it by saying, okay, give me back the property that's the capital string here and update the value of hello world string to the new capital string. Now notice that this doesn't have parentheses, and we saw parentheses used with like resign first responder, which was a function, a bit of functionality that ran. Here we're just accessing an attribute of our hello world string, and we're just updating the value with that attribute. So down here, we also have the ability to do the same thing here. We're going to access the attribute of lowercase string, and we're going to be able to update the value of hello world string to be the lowercase version of our series of characters here. Now, we can also add a single character here, and Swift has gone through some changes now. So characters essentially work like strings. We're going to be able to say first character, and this is just going to be a single character. We're just going to add an exclamation point here. And in the past, we were not able to write something like first character is equal to first character plus hello world string. And that was because we were adding a character and a string together, but now that's completely valid. We see that this doesn't throw an error. And we can also say something like hello world string is equal to hello world string plus first character. And we can add a single character onto our string, and that will work fine as well. So characters really don't cause any issues now. It's nice to know that a character exists, especially when you go to other computer programming languages. Single characters can be handled differently, but in our case, we're going to be able to use them just the same way we're going to be able to use a string here, and we're going to be able to add them to strings and manipulate them in just the same way we saw. We can add two strings together, we can add a character to a string, And we can also change strings by using uppercase and lowercase, which is just a bit of cool functionality. Now, you might be saying, when would I ever need to use these two attributes on a string? Well, sometimes for passwords, if they're not case sensitive, if you have the user entering in a password text field, you're just going to drop it all into lowercase so that when you send it off to your server to do some authentication, it's already in the lowercase form and you don't have to do that server side. So that could be like a use case where you might use lowercase string.